On set. You're going to start off with Troy Davis, obviously a little bit late for a lot of the international papers, but you've been digging around online, haven't you?
Yes, let's start with the Huffington Post. If we have a look at their homepage, it looks very much like a memorial right now, with a photo of Troy Davis and the dates of his birth and death under the headline, Troy Davis, death row inmate killed. Now, this has prompted a real explosion of outrage and anger all around the internet, both globally and in the US, where a majority of people support the death penalty, but even supporters are upset about this because, of course, there are just so many questions over this one particular case. As we heard in that package, the witnesses who went back on their testimony, the other person who did admit to committing the killing, who police never interviewed, even people like an FBI former chief say that this looks like a wrongful conviction and he shouldn't have been killed. So the Huffington Post have done a collection of tweets that were posted in the immediate run-up to his death and then in the aftermath. So let's have a look at some of them. There's a statement from the Georgia representative Hank Johnson, so he's the local Congress representative for the area where that murder happened. He said, "I offer my thoughts and prayers to the family of Troy Davis, a man killed by the state of Georgia despite the lack of moral certainty as to his guilt." There are people on Twitter calling for a boycott of products made in Georgia. There's people accusing the Supreme Court of racism, and very seasoned, hard-bitten, you might say, foreign correspondents saying that waiting for that decision after that 11th hour possibility of a reprieve was the longest and most brutal day of my life, says The Guardian's Ed Pilkington, who was there on the scene. So really quite moving tweets today. Let's have a look at a report in the local paper, the Atlanta Journal, from a reporter who was actually on the scene. She was one of 5 journalists actually allowed in to witness the execution. Now, she's witnessed 12 executions, but says here she's never felt so uncomfortably complicit in the process, nor so moved by the dying man's dignity.
Yeah, fascinating to look at what's appeared online already after that. Now, Palestinian statehood is, of course, the story which has been dominating the week, really. Harriet's, they're not very happy with Obama.
No, they're not at all. They say that with speeches like the one he made last night, they won't advance the peace process one iota. They say they could even spark a popular uprising as the Palestinians become more discontent with Israel and with their US allies. They might cause riots. They say the US, if it carries on like this, just supporting the Israeli line, they'll no longer be able to broker any diplomatic negotiations. And they say, what happened to Obama? How did he move so quickly backwards from the president who said in that famous Cairo speech in 2009 that he sympathised with the plight of Palestinians living under occupation, to one now who's really toting the Israeli line last night, they say.
Talking of the US foreign policy, the Washington Post has got an exclusive.
Yes, very quickly. This comes from WikiLeaks cables. It says that the US is assembling a network of secret drone bases in the Middle East and Africa in order to enable them to attack al-Qaeda militants with those automated drones who are in Yemen and Somalia. So that shows really how worried the US is about Islamic militantism in Yemen and Somalia.
And another talking of WikiLeaks this time, because Assange, and a story on the front page of The Independent in the UK.
Yes, that drone story came from WikiLeaks cables, and Assange himself is now on the Independent front page. Why? Because the Independent has got hold of his autobiography, and they're going to serialise it, but he doesn't want it published. He came to a deal last year with the publishers Canongate to write an autobiography, and now he's reneged on it, saying that he had written in the original manuscripts too many personal details that he doesn't now want published. But Canongate say they're going to publish it anyway. They've already printed thousands of copies in a print run. They say they gave Assange a £500,000 advance that he's not paid them back. The paper says he can't because he used it to pay legal bills. So they're going to publish it anyway, despite his attempting to stop it. So he's obviously not so keen on freedom of information when it refers to his personal life, they say.
Leaks of WikiLeaks. All right, thank you very much, Elena. That's Elena here at this time every day, of course, with the international papers on France 24. Headlines.